everyone, Mary back again. The next woman who occupied Poplar Forest full-time was Sarah Key Watts. She was better known as Sally. She was a very petite person. She was about 5'1" and very slim. So she and her husband, James Watts, purchased the house in 1946 when they were in their late 20s. They felt that they were kind of over their head financially, but even after their first night, Sally said, even if we have to leave tomorrow, it was worth it. In a later interview, Sally would continue to be amazed at living in Jefferson's house. I still wake up in astonishment that it wasn't all a dream. At one point, they were interviewed by the Washington Post, and the article talked about the first Camp David. According to other newspaper interviews, Sally's touches of wit and whimsy lightened the awesome hush of Jefferson's retreat. So when they first moved into the house, so this is what it looked like during their time. When they first moved into the house, there was no heat or running water. The water came from a cedar tank that was on top of the east mound, which is over in this direction, and it was pumped from a nearby spring. So they wanted heat and they wanted running water in the house, so they hired an architect and they got to work. They installed bathrooms in the house, and we're standing in one of those rooms. That was a bathroom at one time. The south room on the lower level of the house became the dining room. Jefferson's dining room became an office. The stair pavilions became closets, and they even worked and put up an entablature in the dining room that mimicked the one that Jefferson had there. And the wine cellar below became a den. To the south of the house, there is the rose garden. It's a bricked-in area. Today it doesn't have roses in it. It has Jefferson's interpretive vegetable garden in it, but obviously Sally Watts liked her roses as well. So they ran a dairy farm on the property and kept sheep to mow the lawn. They had 3 children here, James III, Stephen, and Sarah. If you have seen Stephen's video on growing up at Poplar Forest, it's a real gem, so you really do need to watch that. In it, he talks about his brother James and some of his friends deneutering a skunk, and Stephen also talks about his pet rooster that he kept in his room. So obviously these kids kept Sally really, really busy. Well, have you ever started a project that you get halfway through it and your vision for it kind of changes? Well, that kind of happened with Sally. She started removing the wallpaper, most likely the wallpaper that Marion Cobbs put up. So she got the wallpaper off the wall, and then she really couldn't decide what she wanted to put up again. Well, Sally was known for inviting the girls from Camp Brothers over for lemonade when the camp was in session. And a lot of the women in Lynchburg remember that and remember coming here. After one of these little tea parties, lemonade parties here at Poplar Forest, one of the young girls wrote to Sally and said that she hoped that Sally found what she wanted to put on her walls. In 1980, the Watts put the house up for sale. Jefferson's Poplar Forest must have retained a special place in the family's heart, though, because even after 30 years, Mrs. Watts was quoted as saying, "It was very exciting. It still is. I can't believe it." Her son, Stephen, that talked about growing up here, sits on our board today, and his excitement and enthusiasm for this house just competes with his mother's.